Morena, good morning from Titai Tokerau in Aotearoa, where spring has sprung. We are surrounded by daffodils, freesias, and the birds doing their mating displays and the possums fighting at night over territory. So it's actually really beautiful up here in the winterless north. So we're going to begin our journey today on this new moon, for some a black moon, a time of conception, a time of creation, a time of dreaming our new world into being and taking action to make that made manifest in this reality. And in Western astrology, this is a Leo moon, and in Sidereal Vedic astrology, it's in Cancer. And for some, the black moon only comes around about every 33 months or so. So it's a wonderful time to do some housework, clearing out, and really focus intentionally on what we wish to create in our reality. So on that note, we're going to open with our alignment process. I invite you to stand up, sound, breathe, or move if you're just arriving into your space, into your body, into your place today. As we align physical, mental, emotional bodies through all-pervading soul or higher self and our monadic galactic architecture. Surrendering through the core of Source and the heart of Gaia, where the new true Earth architecture emerges. The core of Source in our own heart spaces and places. Breathing in, sounding through the heart, and allowing our hearts to expand. Surrendering through the core of Source and the heart of the Sun, and in the heart of the great central Sun. In the heart of the Moon, and in the heart of Tea, our ancient moon, part of which is embedded in the African continent. And activating our solar and lunar discs. And surrendering through the core of Source in the galactic center into Homo Universalis, our ancient future selves, wherever that may be located as active in your system, be it through the umbilicus or the pineal, our gateway to God, the all-seeing, the all-knowing, and the part of us that resides outside of time. And taking a moment to welcome the incoming galactic and universal children into our field today, that their wisdom may also be woven into the fabric of creation. And this creation story we are weaving of our new earth at this time. Inviting you to inhale, exhale with sound as we strengthen and fortify our own pillar, our unique pillar and place on the planet. Inhaling, exhaling with sound as we connect with the place on the planet where we stand, honoring the guardians of this land. Inhaling, exhaling the sound as we connect through, to, and around the planetary body into this unified field. Maintaining this connection, coherence, and harmonic, I'd like to hand you over to Casey.
Thank you, everyone, for being in circle with us today. We are going to expand our consciousness field just a little bit further, encompassing the universal fields that are wished to be present in our circle, encompassing a new timestamp that wishes to come forward in connection with the equinoxes, or the eclipses, the eclipses that are coming forward. There's a shift in time, space. There is a image that wishes to be part of the circle about archiving the template of souls that have been on this earth plane before up into this point. We are collecting the data, storing it away, allowing for a new creation template to come forward. This is in connection with the incoming souls. This is creating space for them to anchor in something new upon their arrival. This is the magic window that is being created, the first of, through the eclipses, the great portal way, through the changing over of time, and allowing a new framework for the human system to arrive. A new budding of existence to come forward. And a new rocketing out into space. In connection with all that has been here before. This is part of the new evolution. This is welcoming in the grand future. This is also tied into the locational places on the earth where you guardians in the circle, where all the guardians will be located during that time. To the portals and places that you are drawn to anchor in the new frequency. Attaching it to the new portal ways and the ancient ones. And hooking us up to the higher grid. Please note that you are not doing it alone, that you are supported always by your star teams, your higher earth councils, your galactic companions. But recognizing that there is a requirement for being the boots on the ground, the steps forward, the anchoring into the earth plane. It is a massive undertaking. We have all been gathered here because we are the change makers. The future visionaries. And those who are ready to play in the expanded field. We wish to bring all of this into the circle today and begin our journey together. Understanding that information flows between hearts and heart spaces, in through the light bodies. Receiving the light codes that are not spoken, yet that are anchored into the system through the universal field. We thank each one of you for being here. We are excited for our journey to continue. If you're ready, we're going to anchor into our human bodies a little bit more. Adding some energy to our human systems, feeling our feet connected to Gaia, adding gentle movement, wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, breathing deeply into your systems. And when you're ready to participate, opening your eyes and coming all the way back in.
Thank you very much, Casey. It feels very aligned with what we're going to be stepping into when we step into Egypt next month through these equinox and double eclipse passage. And it's very interesting because we felt a distinct shift in the field for our ancient future when we came together a week ago today for our opening circle, online opening circle for our pre-departure meeting for our ancient future and what wishes to unfold. And there's still, the field is still open in that there's still 3 pillars to be claimed, but there's about 6 people circulating in the field to wait and see who claims them. So we're really interesting to witness this in this process. And the other thing that's emerged since we last gathered is all my one-on-one sessions for the last 2 weeks have been very orientated around fire and womb and our womb of creation. So it's a time of purification of our womb of creation so that what we are creating is anchored in the present and the future and not looping in the past and recycling previous timelines and lifetimes. So that feels very, very present right now. And in this process, many are going through deep purification process. And it's important to understand, although we're exploring womb wisdom as our center of creation on this journey today with Chantel, is to know that's not for women only. That there's actual shamanic practices in the Toltec dreaming shaman where men too, during their initiation processes, they initiate their etheric womb of creation. And this is what is required also with men to reclaim their self-sourcing sovereignty and not need to source themselves through women or anchor themselves through women. They have this capacity within their own systems. And it's very important at this time for our men to be able to create or reinstate their etheric womb of creation in the process. So on that note, it is a great gift that a very dear old soul sister, Chantel, reconnected this week, and that we could have her presence and wisdom on this journey today. So I'd love to hand you over to Chantel for her to introduce herself and take us on a journey with what she has to share.
There we go. Thank you, Leanne. Hello, everybody. I had this beautiful shell that wanted to come in with me. So I'm just going to hold this here. Yeah, I just said to Leanne, I don't know what's going to come through. So I'm just trusting. I love that you just spoke into the piece around men. Actually, my last 2 one-on-one sessions were with men. And is powerful, and there's been a real calling for men to step into that, into the sovereignty of the womb space and that remembrance of their own innate intelligence and wisdom held within the womb, that we all once came from, the great cosmic womb. And so what I've been sensing and feeling while it's alive in the field has where the outsourcing where men that disconnect to that essence, the life force, has been a siphoning. So with the architecture that I've been working with, that's been showing up in my work, has been really aware of the siphoning of the womb. So almost like an artificial currency moving from an inorganic womb consciousness and feeding into the etheric womb of men and women. So harvesting our sexual life force, our energy. And so it's coming back into sovereignty and unhooking, like you said, Leanne, from those timelines and those spaces, so they're not moving forward, that we can illuminate this architecture, illuminate this fallen architecture that has been siphoning off our most sacred essence, which is our sexual centers. And so as I'm sitting, I'm just going to change this so I can see myself. I'm not sure how to do that. As I'm sitting in this space here now, where my work all started was in this is my womb room, where I used to work with children. To begin with, I worked with young girls, connecting them back to their intelligence and to their remembrance of what menstruation was. And then from that, I worked with teen girls in this space. And then it was like, as I was initiated working with these younger women, they were showing me my work and what I was here to do in this room. And then it was time to, as I awoke and remembered, as they mirrored that back to me, the divine children, then I was able to start moving into working with women one-on-one. And then it was like I was initiated more and more into my remembrance and my own multidimensional feminine self. So in the last year, it's been, the initiations became much more deeper, and I was starting to really be shown more of the, as I was working with the woman and the womb and my own body and sovereignty and being in spaces, I was starting to really see and feel a imbalance or a distortion in the field around womb wisdom. And as we're moving into the organic architecture, I was deeply shown where there were siphoning systems still really at play, and where we have been connected and into artificial networks is what I was shown. So with my work, it's been really working with the Andromedan energies and the multidimensional teams who have been really springing through this new architecture, this organic architecture. And last year I was shown the crystal rose architecture. And so we're working with this and really connecting to the new planetary grid system that illuminates the distortions that have been kind of feeding into these fallen harvesting systems through the womb intelligence of the body. And just recently, what I was shown was the inner flame. So our life force, our crystal light, and how the flame almost looked like it was being sucked, like what's the word I'm looking for? When a candle's going out and there's no oxygen in the room, and it was like this flame that was just dwindling. So it was there was no oxygen, it was being fed off. So the flame within became so light. And it was my work with children that really showed me how the children have this expanded life force, this inner crystal light that knows, that feels, that believes and sees. And the more programmed we become and I guess implanted projections, it's like this inner light gets siphoned from it, gets smaller and smaller and dimmed and dimmed and dimmed. And this is what I was really shown within the womb body, within the sexual centers, how these the weaponry around being siphoned from. I'm just gonna check in, is this making sense? Because I get everything visually. Thank you. And so as I was shown this beautiful architecture that was coming through the crystal rose and coming back into womb heart coherence, when I was working within myself, I always work with these architectures within myself first, and then bringing through this architecture into like the horizontal heart throat coherence, the feminine, and through the masculine. And it was like, then it was like the flame was safe to ignite. The flame, the inner Christed flame, was safe to come back into coherence and to rise and burn within. And it was like coming into that safety of the body first, that flame could feel safe enough to ignite again. And this is the architecture that's really been coming through in my work, and it's so powerful, but also so multi-leveled, because what I was really showing is how it's like luminosity is the word I keep getting, illuminating these architectures that are still, I believe, many are still very plugged into these currents, but it's just about bringing speaking about it now, illuminating it now, bringing it into our healing work, bringing these architectures back into the womb space, so that we can illuminate this stuff and cut all ties, and bring through this beautiful heart song womb coherence. And it's like the most beautiful rainbow colors and imagery that comes through when I'm working with this consciousness. It's almost like the rainbow serpent. It's like the kundalini of the rainbow serpent. And that's when I started seeing like an architecture that was almost looked like the serpent, but was not of the true crested body. And so that's really what's, the true crested snake, or almost like dragon serpent energy that's really wanting to come through at the moment, as these fallen energies, or these fallen darker siphoning architectures are being exposed now and illuminated. So, and that's how we can bring in and reconnect to the true organic womb. And that's what's really been showing up with the work that I've been doing. And also as I work with the children, it's like the control grids within the body, within the womb, these new children that are coming through, it's like there's no place for control. There's no place for any kind of architecture that is siphoning or pulling anymore. And so as many of us who are bringing through these architecture, it's like I feel like it's really time for us to really look into maybe where we're still being siphoned from or plugged in. And that can show up in many spaces, in many ways, in plantations and things like that. Have you got any questions to help me keep bouncing with this?
Thank you so much. What I'm reflecting on as you speak is, after 20 years of working with embodiment and evolution, I've literally created an online journey now, the foundation of embodiment, which is 8 shamanic journeys that addresses really what we have lost as a culture, as a Western culture, of not having rites of passage. Because we have not had rites of passage, we have not been released from the energetic dependence upon our parents, and we've not come into our sovereignty, and you've got a lot of right now of children walking around in adult bodies with emotional maturity of a teenager. And we see it playing out in parliamentary circles on screen. So these rites of passage, which used to be through the ages of around 7, releasing the dependence on the mother and being apprenticed in the community to the one that held the gifts of that child, so that child could step into their first step of sovereignty. The next one at puberty, the red tent for the woman, the rites of passage for the men and the boys, and then into adulthood, into maturity, into parenthood, of stepping into what it is to be in unconditional love and selfless service to the other. And the rites of passage go on. And without these, the planetary pantomime is a playground. And a distinct lack of maturity. So it's really important that we're no longer sourcing ourselves horizontally, that we're coming into our direct access with creation.
And it's like it's been in that openness, and when we're not given those rites of passage or that mirror of the sacredness of our inner centers, our inner sacred, the most sacred, that has been the most ritualized also, and sexualized in all mainstream, that children are just so open, but with no containment or understanding of how our sexual energy can be harvested from. And that has been showing up so deeply in the work, especially with women, you know, even after birth, when we've opened up our body and there's no closing that down. So often when I'm working with the wombs, I'm showing, you know, where women are just still hooked into the trauma that happened on the birth table. And when I'm working multidimensionally with my clients, I always work through the mother line. So what I'm showing and what women have held in the body and why we keep showing up with hideous births, death, miscarriage, is these unmet wounds that keep recycling, like we were talking about, over and over. And so we're playing it out again, and playing it out until we choose to heal this, meet the root of what happened. And the grief is what I hold in my work, is when I'm showing the grief that is still held deeply in the body, that almost calcifies and becomes another control grid from us being able to open and release and let go and purify, so that we're not mirroring back that same energetic imprint again and again and again. And a lot of what, you know, these insidious things, I mean, what I've been recently being shown is, you know, these contracts happen the moment we were born, the birth certificate, the disconnect from the organic mother stream into a synthetic mother stream with the lights, the cord cutting, the documents. But we're coming to a point now where we can through voice, through invitation, is to cut these ties now, just voice them. And that's still coming through me at the moment, but I can feel it coming on how we can, and I know many people are doing it, but disconnect from these timelines, from these contracts that were never ours. We were hijacked, our births were hijacked into that space. So it's like really the sexual really coming and understanding how open through rite of passage, but also from birth and before birth. And it's the grief, to me, that gridlocks within the body, that holds the armory and then calcifies around the heart. And what I see the most when I work with men especially is the calcification of the heart. So it's almost like dead people walking. It's like, because we've closed off that access to the mother lines, the feminine, which is the current that runs through the heart womb connection, has been deeply severed and coiled. And then we've been outsourcing for that love, outsourcing for you know, that mirror. And then often that then is reflected in narcissistic relationship until we can meet that core wounding. So it's so multi-layered, but also beautiful where we are right now, because men are awakening and the hearts are cracking open and the wombs are screaming. The wombs are screaming at the woman. And it's like, either we keep projecting outwards or we start to fucking listen to what she is saying, what the womb is communicating with us now. So that's kind of like, and bringing the multidimensional work now, because I used to be more just working, you know, really deeply womb, blood, earth. But it was when I really started opening up to my multidimensional feminine self to really bring through these architectures deeply, because the wound is so deep. The wound around the womb and trying to find the word, the siphoning is bringing luminosity to this now, and just remembrance, and that we can protect and we can call our energy back. Where has it been? What are we still disconnected to? And so that really comes through my work now, is coming back to that wholeness, into that holding of the heart womb coherence, and working with the architecture of the pearl, which recently showed itself to me, was the pearl of innocence, which is another, you know, the pearl will reveal itself to those who are ready to see the pearl, but often it is behind a lot of distortion, that the pearl is the sacred Christed essence, before the shame, before the ritual, it's like the pearl was seeded, our seed, and then connecting to that pearl through the heart coherence into the pearl and the cervix. Yeah, it was this beautiful architecture that I saw and that I've been really weaving with. The rainbow lights coming through so strongly right now as I get more and more initiated into bringing through this architecture, which is still finding the right words to bring it into through my body and speak of it. But it's really exciting times. Where womb work is going and what womb work I believe once was, but it's kind of going so much more multidimensional. And yeah, if that makes sense. Yes.
Thank you, Chantel. Perhaps we open to the field for questions or contributions, because it feels like there may be more that wishes to come through, Casey. Yeah.
I always have contributions. This feels connected somehow. In my own workspace, I've been having clients come in, male and female, that have wounding on their mother line. And through a journey with them, I've been taking them back to their birthing process. And instead of being connected through their umbilical cord to their mothers, we're giving their umbilical cord to Gaia so that they don't continually receive wounding from their mothers. And they're able to stop that cycle and yet see Gaia as that mother and feel her connection so that they can step forward on their path work.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thanks, Casey. That's one of the first in the foundation of the embodiment is the shamanic rebirthing process, because we have to go back and revisit our time of conception, our time in utero, and our time in birth. Because if there is any corruptions, distortions, interference along that way where we are not experiencing ourselves separate from the mother, of course we arrive with that, or effectively we don't fully arrive. So that pathway needs to be cleared so that we can fully arrive into the body first of all, and that we're not recycling it. And during the period of doing the feminine template, which is through our relationship with our mother and her lineage and what we've inherited, conscious and unconscious, at the end of that process is releasing the etheric umbilical cord and reclaiming our sovereignty. And for many, that is rooting through the earth. And that's what starts our connection through the body to the planetary body, and a very deep and intimate relationship then that is missing. And it's why so many people feel disconnected now, because they don't have that connection to body, to earth, to planet, to home.
Yes, it's such a yeah, it's one of the biggest things that shows up in my work is the disconnect and the recoiling. It's like I'm always showing, like, it's almost like, you know, those kurus. It's like when it recoiled, and it's bringing that to me, that safety. It's like that safety in the body to be able to connect also back to the earth, especially for men and the men who walk with the earth. And often when I work with the male body, it's like when I work with the etheric womb, it's like honestly just feels so cold, just dead, almost down. And it's like igniting that life force, that inner flame and remembrance, because the outsourcing has been so rampant. And also that connection to the mother as well, to their own inner mother. Yeah, I love that. That's so beautiful. Connecting to Gaia.
Does anyone else have any questions or contributions to the field? Mandy, lovely to have you.
Thank you for everything you're sharing, and beautiful.
Hello.
Hello. I actually, I was just going on one of my little jaunts that I do inwardly, and next thing I was on this massive ship, and here were these huge big glass tubulars with all these humanoid beings just in this fluid, and it was just huge, massive, massive, massive. And there were many, many, many of these massive ships with all these peeps everywhere, like in a wombish type setting, test tubey stuff. And what I really got from that was the harvesting, that we have been definitely in this cycle of recycle through this harvesting. And that I know has now been, I mean, we're not here to save, but there's definitely been a freeing up of that for humanity. And that's where I'm seeing now the more organic awareness coming back into the bodies of those who I've been working with as well, and where they're really connecting back to she who's calling.
Yes.
So it's this gorgeous awakening and respect to now that has been, I want to say, cleared. We're moving, and this is what we're finding with ascension as such, the ascension descension process, is that now we're able to choose where we leave here from, where we go to, because before we didn't have that choice, I felt, we in this recycling. And now there's an awareness of actually, whereas, there's so many false light,
Yes.
follow the light, they say. Well, is that actually where we're really wanting to go? So this is now, for me, there's this massive movement of all of that. And we're now being able to actually choose where we move to next, and releasing the body and the form. So it was big. I was like, wow, this has been for such a long time, and now there's this freeness. We're freeing it all.
Yes. And what I see when you speak of that, it's like, because we are waking up to what we've been
Yeah,
unconsciously hooked into now. It's like there's no control, there's no hold anymore.
no,
The more we
it's-
wake up to these false architectures that have been siphoning off our life force and pulling us into inorganic grids, it's like we unhook, we see, no, done, that's closed, no more, no more. We become
absolutely.
into wholeness,
Yeah,
back into our organic,
Mm,
crysted light,
that's right.
purity. It's all about purification.
Yeah, and watching, the new templating, I'm calling it. It's like templates, the design of the new templates coming into and round through the bodies. If we think about, like, we know with water, if we put it into frequency, it changes shape. It designs itself into the frequency. This is what our templates are doing. I'm watching with many people all these beautiful new designs coming into their template, like their crystalline. Oh, it's so beautiful. And all the sacred,
Yeah.
designing of all of that. It's just beautiful. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, I love that, because there is this architecture is here now. And I think that's why it's so important for people who are doing womb work now to be aware of what maybe we were, especially as women who are working with the womb or doing womb work, that we are, what I've been shown and been told is to keep talking about this false womb, because a lot of the architecture that has been feeding off, and I've seen it in spaces and healing spaces, that it actually mimics like arousal energy or power or fire, but it's not of organic architecture. And it's like, the more we can call this out, and that we're only working with these beautiful crystalline grids that are moving through now here for us to connect into, especially when working with the sacred energy of our sexual center. It's like coming back into that direct connection with the crystalline architecture of Gaia, the organic architecture, where we're not feeding into these false light, because they're really trying, what I'm showing us, to keep feeding, to keep people pulled away of this organic ascension timeline. So that's kind of what's been happening a lot for me, is I've been like nudged to keep speaking about this, keep speaking about it, but I have had fear around it, to be honest, because it's like, which I still work with, but it's like, I love spaces like this where I can just practice that too. If that makes sense. Yeah.
And thanks, Chantel.
Yeah.
The three main things that have been siphoned off our planet for eons is gold, water, and human life force energy.
Yes.
So the big part of this turning over of time is a reclamation of the responsibility of the management and conduct of our life force energy. And through that, we get to experience the beauty of living our ecosexual nature in these animal bodies, which when they're in their relaxed and expanded state in nature, they're able to make love to life. They feel everything, they sense everything, and they are at one. With springing in Aotearoa, you know, it's absolutely delightful. There is an organic feeling of arousal here as the birds sing their song, and there's much beauty in that. And it takes, for some, a lot of personal work to come into this space of embodiment, to be safe in the body. When the animal body is safe, the animal plays. And for many of us, we don't play enough.
Yeah.
And to play consciously and to create consciously from the sacred space of creation.
I love that, because I feel like that place for me, that arousal that is remembered, it's like gnosis, it's there, and it's I can connect to it, and it's like it's not summoned, it's not pulled in, it's not lured in, it moves through. That's been really a point for me, is when I know when I'm working with organic life force, and that play piece is so important.
Yes, I'm going to take my body down to play in the ocean when we're finished today. Janavi, did you have something you'd like to share or contribute or ask?
Yes, thank you. I have a comment and a question. I'm so grateful for this. You're sharing about this topic, you're sharing your wisdom. I really am enjoying how beautifully you articulate this new wisdom that's coming into our planet. And I just wanted to let you know that I really tracked everything that you have shared, based on my own personal experience. Even as a woman who is Kundalini awakened and highly trained in Tantric Kriya yoga practices, I still did not understand how precious my sexual life force is and how vulnerable I was to it being siphoned very badly, actually. I was in a relationship in which I almost died more than once, and I had to. Now I'm out and I am rebuilding my ojas, that reservoir of primordial sexual energy, so I can have it to create my new earth reality. So I just wanted to share that. And also, something very beautiful that has been being shown to me ever since I've been connected to the Fae realm. And I wanted to ask you is, that innocent, wholesome sexuality that girls have, that's probably the very extra precious. It's so vulnerable. And what I was shown is that the Fae, how Kundalini moves through their body, their full aliveness, their playfulness, their innocence, that the Fae are actually the best example that we have as human beings of what it is to embody our eros in organic, beautiful, natural ways. And yeah, I think there's something there to explore, but just wondering if that's a connection that you have seen also.
Yes, absolutely. The purity, and that's where I get the picture of the pearl. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and she mirrors that to me all the time. And just the other day I was talking about Fae energy. Someone said I was a Fae. It's funny. But yeah, it's that mischievous essence. It's that aliveness and purity. That what I love about the maiden energy is she knows who she is. She's playful. She can feel her sexual energy, and she's wild, and she doesn't give a shit, and mischievous. and that's encoded in all of us, and we can access that piece. But often, that because of what Leanne was talking about, these rites of passage that were never had, that was, you know, we disconnected from that essence. And I totally believe that that energy feels so connected. I love that. And I love that you shared around your experience in the tantric fields, because I too worked very deeply in the tantric fields. And in my early 20s, I was actually traveled the world as I worked as a elite escort in my early 20s, a long time ago. And I saw a lot. And then when I, years and years and years later, being a mother, healed, went into the tantrics temples, and then I was like, this is the same energy running through here. And that's how I knew straight away that there was things that weren't, that was a feeding happening, a pulling, a siphoning energy. And often what came across alive and good, and then you would leave and feel depleted, it wasn't true. So yeah, that's how I was able to, and I know that's why I had to experience that in this lifetime. The things that we get initiated to live through, right, and embody. So I believe we can see it and you know, speak of it. Yeah, thank you for sharing that vulnerability.
Oh, thank you. I'm just so glad that you are speaking about it, because if we don't know it as a concept, we cannot protect it.
No.
And our young ones, they need to know about this power in a grounded, wholesome way. That's, like you said, that's resonating. That is the womb and heart flame is intact and guarded.
Yes, protected.
Thank you.
Yes.
Fiercely.
Can I just share one more thing? I just, with you talking about Faye and the joy and the playfulness and all the thing, GAIA turned up one day for me, and she was Lady GAIA, and she was in a really young, you know, this awesomeness, man. And I just sat there and I went from this newness that we're coming into. She was really encouraging the youthful, playful spirit within. And I just loved it. She's really stuck with me since, this sassy Lady GAIA. You know, she was really, oh my God, it just cracked me up, made me just so joyful and playful, this energy of her, rather than the wise crone that we think of Mother Earth, you know, in that way. Yeah, it was really gorgeous. Just wanted to share that.
I love that. The maiden. Just got the image of eternal youth, and that's what's also being so weaponized. There's the maiden, and then the woman who wanted to stay in maiden. You know, it's like there's aspects of her that we can connect to all the time, but then grow into our wisdom, grow and allow the beauty of the maiden to keep shining through. Yeah, I love that.
And for those that are here and those watching the replay, I understand that Chantel and Talia have a collaboration that they are offering early next year. And I wonder if you'd like to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm happy to, unless Talia can add a little piece. Yes, we connected, and another old soul sister connection, and we are going to come together and do a beautiful retreat, I believe 3 days in February, where we're going to bring womb, sound, song, heart coherence, and hold a beautiful container of embodiment and journeying into the organic womb connection, bringing through the energies of the whale, this beautiful crystalline energy that's really wanting to come through at the moment, and holding a container where we can really journey inwards into that remembrance, into the maiden, into the innocence. It feels like a lot of innocence energy coming through into the space, and play actually, and sound and song, and really opening, allowing that voice to open to the layers of blocks and distortion that runs through to that womb heart coherence. And just, you know, for me, it's like, how can we gather women in a place where we can just, I know for me, I have 4 children and carving out space and time to be able to really dive in to this deep, actually very deep work. I'm like, deep work into the crystalline waters, into the purity of the cosmic womb. Yeah, so it feels like for me, it's just going to be beautiful working with Talia also, and bringing through both our medicine weaving together, however that looks, through the sound and the soma and the womb, and really bringing through the energy of the Magdalene, the rose lineage, the rose architecture that's coming through now, and its purity. Talia, would you like to share anything? I can't see you anyway.
I know, I was just reflecting on when you said about the whale, and WHALE, but also WAIL, the whale of the womb. Yeah, just the place of somehow bringing that whale that comes deeply anchored in the earth, and it's a different sound. Yeah, that was what my reflection was. It's a different sound that comes from that whale. Yeah.
It's a sound that I know very well. That sound, and it's actually, when we can connect to that depth, it's the most activating. I get the word grief. It activates the gnosis, the remembrance of what was deeply held and hidden, and it's allowing that wail to be heard. And that wail often is not pretty. It's ugly, but it's beautiful.
And also acknowledging within the grief is the ecstasy as well.
Yes.
It's also ecstatic. Yeah.
Comes through pain and pleasure, right?
And where perhaps our inability to feel and express emotions, where our waters have dampened our fire, where our lack of ability to communicate, our grief has sometimes smothered the flames beneath. And I'm wondering if there is a sound that may wish to come through to show people the pathway into this whale deep within. Maybe Talia, you'd like to lead something.
Yeah, so the invitation is just to, as I sound, just to invite the pearl to be with us, and also just to feel for your umbilical cord deeply rooted into the earth.
Yaniataka iwushiono yatari anakatiti andoro yataka niashiando koyana iatari atakatiti andoro shiando komoyana eyaya nali atakatiti ando koyamo moyatari atakashi woyata tikititiari atukuya shianari atakatiwa heyanari atiki ushiadiaka niani chitiari atukuya naka aiwakch muy, ay, 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 ay. Ay, anakaria shkitika. Mutariata, mutariati kiti. Yoshko. Ay. Oh. Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful gathering. I just feel like giggling. Oh, so much joy. Thank you.
Thank you, Chantel, for your words of wisdom, and thank you, Talia, for your song and for taking us into the deep waters of the well.
It was deep.
May we remember the sacredness of our life force sexual energy.
Yeah, I just have another word that wants to come through. My whole body's trembling. But it's like, no more. no more, no more. It's like this whale energy of protection. It's like the guardians now. It's like, enough, enough. No more. Thank you for having me today.
The more that women learn how to activate their own wombs from a pure and innocent place, the more that women can do that, really source themselves, the less and more will happen. It has to come from the woman first.
Sovereignty.
It's time for us all, whether we are souls embodied in a male or female form, to reclaim our self-sourcing and sexual sovereignty. For with that reinstated within our system, we can no longer be manipulated or controlled. And we are enabled to stand in our love and truth, which is so required at this time. So thank you everybody for joining with us today, for journeying with us today, for coming together on this new moon, on this black moon, a time of conception, as we take responsibility for the reality that we are creating, as we dream our new world into being. So may we arrive fully intact onto the earth plane as I hand you over to Casey to bring closure to our journey today.
Thank you everyone for being here. We're going to disconnect a little bit from the greater field, giving thanks for the energy surrounding the womb transformation that we went through today, the rebirthing process, the claiming of sovereignty, and the activation of those beautiful new earth energy pearls, which allow the waters to come back into our womb spaces, which allow feeling and depth and connection to return. Giving gratitude for our human bodies, our creational matrices that we hold, and our connection to our own divinity. Stepping into that space of creation and creator and understanding the balance that we hold. With so much gratitude, we will step back into our individual pillars, closing the field a little bit more, allowing ourselves to anchor in fully to our human vessels, allowing us to take our steps next on our journeys until we come together again. When you are ready, breathing deeply into your body, feeling your breath reach the depths of your womb space, down to your feet and down to Gaia. Anchoring in your energy in your own individual bodies. Taking command of your lighthouses and understanding that there is a choice always to be embodied or not. With so much gratitude for what has come forward today. We'll add a little gentle movement to our bodies, breathing deeply into ourselves. And when you're ready, choosing to come all the way back in by opening your eyes.
Thank you, Casey. And for those that wish to connect with Chantel and Talia, you'll find their contacts beneath the recording replay on the YouTube channel. And please do reach out to them. It feels like an extraordinary journey that will be coinciding with the Chinese New Year as well in early February. So it's a time of creation. And for those that are journeying with us through the replays for the last 6 months while we've been wallowing in winter in the Antipodes, our next 2 meetings on the eclipses want to be through Egypt on around 5 p.m. Egyptian time. We will post the timelines for that, but we will be meeting on the 8th of September on our full moon lunar eclipse, and on the 23rd from Giza Plateau. And it will be lovely to meet our community in the north that have been unable to meet us and journey with us on these morning meetings in the south. So until then, may this be an end and a beginning as we birth something new. For what is to come, what is unfolding on the planet is quite extraordinary right now. And we get to create it. And it is a gift and a pleasure to be walking with all of you. Aroha nui from Aotearoa. Until next we meet. Much love, everyone.